What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. This episode we are jumping back onto the Chevelle build, our twin turbo SEMA build for next year. Last episode we got the firewall dialed in, we got everything pretty much where we want it, where we can start doing the tunnel. What we have to do next is get our front end all situated. We're gonna be putting the front fenders on and the front core support on, just so we can get a nice layout for the engine bay and know how much room we have to play with to get this turbo system situated. Now, as I said before, we're using our Garretts, which are symmetrical. So left and right are gonna be exactly the same. And we're also gonna transfer that over with our dual intake sniper from Holley. So we'll have 2 throttle bodies, 2 turbos, 2 wastegates, everything's gonna be nice in symmetry. If I just built a turbo system right now, I have no idea what's gonna fit where. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mock up the front end. While Cal's doing that, I'm gonna jump on the interior and I'm gonna get that tunnel in from Chassis Engineering. They actually make these kits in aluminum and steel. So it's gonna be our drive shaft tunnel for the back side of the car. And then this tunnel up here, and this is actually gonna go around our transmission. They give you more than enough material to use. Speed roll is nice, but not sure if that's gonna jive with the actual dimensions of our tunnel. Stuff like this just kind of cuts down the fabrication time. All right, so we have 1/2 kind of roughed in, and this is exactly what roughing it in means, is you're just doing these rough cuts all around your pieces just to get it close. So now what I'm gonna do before I go and trim this and make it all perfect, I'm gonna do the other side first so that I know that my seam is right down the middle of my transmission. Once I have both sides in, I can kind of run some rough tacks here and there and then start running the rest of the tunnel back and seeing exactly where my cut line's gonna go. Now, what I'm gonna do is clean all this paint off, get everything nice and prepped, all nice and perfect. Obviously, this needs to come up a little bit. I need to spring that material up, and then I can start tack welding this all in. Once it's all tack welded in and it's pretty much holding its shape, that's when I can just hammer and dolly this edge the best I can. I'm not gonna get super anal with it because there's gonna be a nice center console that goes over this whole thing. We tacked it as much as we could, every inch, like I was saying before. There's some trimming that needs to be done inside here to get that smoothed out, and obviously we gotta trim all this excess off. So we have the bottom side of our tunnel where I want it. I got all of the undercoating ripped off, prepped and ready to go to be welded. So I'm gonna make sure everything is looking really nice and sealed up from the inside first. I'm just gonna go ahead with the MIG welder and zap it all in, and then we'll be good to go and ready to do the rest of the tunnel. So we got our firewall all welded up. I went ahead and used the MIG because the weld is nice and cold. And also the metal is really dirty. You could grind and grind and grind and make it look perfect. We're not gonna go through the effort of actually like soda blasting this car. There's different levels of metal work and different levels of a restoration that you could do, guys. And you could still do things correctly without spending like 1,000,000 hours on something. We're not necessarily cutting corners, but a MIG welder is gonna allow you to have a little bit more leniency in the metal as far as how dirty or how clean it is. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna blend down most of these welds on the firewall, get it prepped for body work, and then we're gonna move back into the tunnel and finish welding all that up before we go and cut the rest of the factory tunnel out of the rest of the car so we can start raising everything up for the drive line.
So we're going to cut the rest of this tunnel. Where the inner seatbelt loop goes, there's a substructure. You can see there's all these spot welds going around. So I'm probably going to drill these out first. There's another substructure here. That's the bracing for the actual seat. So they put these braces in all down the car to support the driver and passenger seats. So what I want to do is I want to cut the upper skin off, take this shell off. I'm going to try to keep the inner structure, and then I want to put my new tunnel on top and get my height that I need to come up, and then probably going to make a new substructure for the tunnel to sit on top of, so I have that strength still in the floor. And then you have this big old honker that's gonna have to get modified for the tunnel. We're just gonna go very surgical with this thing, make sure we don't cut away too much that we don't need. So we have the bottom of the car pretty much prepped to where we can start putting our tunnel in. Our seatbelt brace is still in. Our forward brace for the front of our seat bracket is still in there. So these two braces is what's going to give us all of our strength. This bracing is actually welded on top of the sheet metal. So we're going to put the tunnel in from the top. I'm going to cut the slots for this guy so that the excess material can come down in between these brackets. And the tunnel will slide down until we reach the top of the leading edge of the transmission portion of our tunnel. When we come back here, I'm going to probably notch the back side of the tunnel and come back this way and then see how much I have to take off this back portion because it's going to have a little bit of a pitch coming down. So I'm going to drop the car now, get the tunnel trimmed and start fitting it in from the top and seeing what we have to do in order to get these braces to stay put. So the center console is nice and buttoned up at this point, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut this about a 1/4 inch below our floor line so I can tab it over, have like a little 90 to give it a little more strength. We got the car down, back on the chassis. Everything's really good. The clearance is pretty much where I want it. The only thing I have left to do, guys, is the back half of the actual tunnel has to be tapered down to 0. Going to put the lift pads underneath the chassis now, and we're gonna lift the entire car up. That way we're gonna get a better idea as to what we're looking at underneath with the drivetrain and the engine and the transmission jiving with the actual body. So our tunnel, guys, is looking pretty good. The drive shaft has more than enough room on the top here. We're gonna come all the way back. These are gonna get moved out of the way, and we'll probably do like a mock-up drive shaft in there to see what we have to do from here. One thing I do need to do before we tackle this stuff is we gotta get some chassis bolts in to get the body actually bolted down to the chassis so everything is nice and centered, and then we can go ahead and put the front end on. While I was doing all the fabrication, Cal was going ahead and putting on our serpentine set. We got our alternator on, our AC compressor, we got our tensioner, underdrive pulley, power steering. We have tons of tape on all our shiny bits so we don't scratch anything. This underdrive pulley and set for the serpentine kit for the LSX is really awesome because it's super compact, super tight to the motor. It's gonna be a lot easier to do the turbo kit around serpentine set like this. We're gonna go ahead and put the front end on now. Looks really big and spacious now, but as we start bolting the front end back together, you're gonna see how tight this engine bay is gonna get. I went ahead and blended out the welds on the Roadstershop chassis on the front here. Made it look all nice and smooth. For the most part, the firewall is pretty much done. Just gonna have to weld this pinch weld later on, but I wanna keep moving on the turbo kit and get the front end mocked up. We're gonna go ahead and put the core support on now, put on the front fenders and mock up the inner fenders and see where we can put our Garrett turbos. All right, so the guys went ahead and put the front end on the car, so we have all of our clearance issues taken care of. Got the headlight buckets in, so we can start laying out our intakes for the turbos. There's some extra material they usually put on the bottom of the core support where the radiator goes from the factory, and it just kind of holds the radiator up above the core support line usually, so I like to cut those off. So I got this aluminum radiator from another car that we're gonna go ahead and throw in and just get a kind of an idea as to where the clearance is gonna be. The intake manifold does hit the hood. We're gonna have to modify this inner core support. You got all your room right there, another inch or so. Cut it in half right here where the original air cleaner went when it was carbureted, and move this thing up and like just elongate it and shorten these guys up. Right now, what I wanna do is I wanna get our Garretts in place, take the factory mounting points here
here, cut another tab, and use these points to weld on, and then you can bolt to the turbo. And then you can actually position your turbo where you want it and lock it in place. We're gonna get our turbos placed first, and then we're gonna go ahead and figure out what we need to do for headers and the cold side and the intercooler. So let's get these mirror image G-Series turbos in place, and then we'll go from there. So we got these little mounting plates that we cut on our plasma table. What I'm gonna go ahead and do with these is I'm gonna mount them right there on the inner fender well. And then from there, we're gonna have a little arm that comes straight up from that plate and welds onto our tab here to hold the turbo steady. The actual cold side of the turbo is gonna be facing down. So I'm going to be setting it up where I'm gonna pop a hole right here. Boost line is gonna go straight down, the actual charge pipe. And then from there, I'm gonna have to situate my intercooler. But for the first step, guys, is get the turbos where you want them. And we wanna utilize this headlight duct as an inlet for the turbo. And you'll see the actual turbo blade spinning through the inside of that headlight scoop. For right now, I'm gonna go ahead and cleco this in. What you do is you get one side where you want it, and then you take a million measurements, and then try to duplicate on the other side. So we got the passenger side turbo in place. We got one support brace here that's temporary. This will not stay here. And we have another one down here. We're gonna be able to put a little mesh on there, a little kick, like a little 45, and it'll line right up with this headlight bucket. Now this is where it gets a little tricky because you want your placement of your turbo to be exactly the same from left to right. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna grab the other turbo, start placing it on this side, try to get some symmetry here, and the turbos are set, and then we can start building the turbo system out. We got our Garrett turbos in. I'm pretty happy with the placement. These big pockets over here proved to be nice homes for these Garrett G-Series turbos. The idea is to make this thing super tubey. The customer came to us and said, really liked the way Cha-Ching looked and kind of wanted to emulate that. Just for food for thought, let's go over to Cha-Ching real quick. We can see exactly what the customer is talking about. So as you can see, Cha-Ching is very busy. It's a very organic engine bay, and this is kind of the idea. What we're gonna do, instead of coming in here, the orientation of the turbo has been spun this way. So the header's gonna still be high. You'll be able to see all the runners, all the primaries, but the exhaust is gonna come straight this way as opposed to out the fender. And then the wastegate orientation is gonna be on the other side of the turbo. Then we're gonna have our inlets kind of like Cha-Ching here, but instead they're gonna be spun and they'll have it right into the headlight. On Cha-Ching, we've dropped the radiator down real low and brought the intake pipe over the radiator. On the Chevelle, the radiator is significantly larger. So what we'll probably end up doing is coming through the sides since there's two intakes. So we're probably gonna come out the side here and go into the actual intake pipes. We'll have twin fly-by-wire LT4 throttle bodies. But for now, guys, we got the turbos in. Next episode, we're gonna continue on the turbo kit. We're gonna get all our Stainless Brothers and Vibra performance parts in. We're gonna be starting on the cold side of the exhaust and probably building some headers and try to get this engine bay a little bit more sorted before we start moving to the exterior of the car. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you guys later.